Yes, so I'm going to talk about how we at Section 23 are looking to integrate local food systems purposefully in a neighborhood development that we're doing in Calgary. So a little bit about Section 23. Section 23 is a local Calgary developer doing work both in the inner city as well as greenfield developments. And myself, I'm a strategic advisor with Section 23. I would like to introduce Rob Ollerenshaw, who is the, Rob, do you want to get up and say with the crowd? Rob is the CEO as well as an architect by profession, and also Brad Wright, who is the VP in urban design and architecture. I also want to let you guys know that up until March of 2017, about 2 months ago, I was a partner at Brown and Associate, and warms my heart to see a number of my colleagues here. Welcome. Thank you for coming. The vision for the lands that I'm going to talk to you about, we are drawing our inspiration from the legacy of the Ollerenshaw family, who have had a number of generations of agricultural background in Southeast Calgary. The whole idea here is to create the farm-to-table concept, creating places and spaces where we can connect people with celebration of food. It also draws, we're also drawing the inspiration from agricultural urbanism by Andrea Stuani, who has pioneered it in the US. So in Calgary, this would be one of the pioneering project in agricultural urbanism. So just in terms of context, Rangeview lands are located in southeast part of Calgary. So as you can see, southeast part of the city, and it's part of the Rangeview area structure plan that was approved in 2015. So Rangeview, just to put a context in terms of area, Rangeview lands are about 1,900 acres in size, will ultimately accommodate 44,000 people. Section 23 lands are located in this area here and include 2 quarter sections, 320 acres of lands. So the legacy, a little bit about the legacy of the Ollerenshaw family. So Ollerenshaw family moved to Calgary in the early 1900s. Robert's grandfather, Joe, and his wife Florence settled in Section 23 in 1923 and started the farming operation, working with self-sustaining, self-sufficient farming operations. And the legacy was then continued by his father, and Fred and Marjorie, who expanded the agricultural operations and then moved into Section 24 and ultimately into Section 23, where the name of the company comes from. So Robert, with his profession in architecture, then started community development on these lands as the city lands were annexed into the city of Calgary. So Rangeview ASB, just establishing the overall policy context here, Rangeview ASB, as I said, was approved back in 2015. The 4 big ideas there were to create development that complemented Seton Center, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, have interconnected grid street network, ecological network connecting the natural features, and as well as creating distinct neighborhoods. Agricultural urbanism in Rangeview ASB was recognized as one of the innovation areas, and we worked with the city even at the ASB stage in order to highlight this area. So as we go more into implementation, approval of the next level of plans, we would be put into that category of innovation there. So in terms of the overall and overarching policy direction that we're working with, as you can see, Section 23's overall objectives are really very well aligned with at the municipal, provincial, as well as the federal level. So at the municipal level, as you heard from Kristi, there is MDP support. We're part of the Resilient, Calgary is part of the Resilient Cities with the Rockefeller Foundation, and even the land use bylaw, City of Calgary is strengthening the bylaw in order to enable agricultural uses. At the provincial level, looking beyond the oil and gas, province is recognizing agri-tech as one of the upcoming industries. Similarly, at the federal level as well, the feds have recognized that agriculture is going to be, or agri-tech, evolving it to the next level is going to be really part of the future growth areas. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Seton Centre, mostly to convey the idea that these lands are not located at the periphery of the city. These are adjacent to very intense development, and it's truly integrating some of the local food systems into urban areas as opposed to more of the rural urban fringe here. So as I walk you through the plan or the planning stages of it, you'll see how close it is to some very intense areas. So Seton Urban Centre is actually a very intense area that right in here. So Rangeview, this is Seton here. These are Rangeview lands. The major anchor at Seton is the employment center there, which has the regional hospital. In terms of community services, there's going to be the regional recreation center, a library, 2 high schools. So it's really a local main street as well as regional shopping areas. Calgary Green Line, which is a really big initiative, will come, and there are 2 stations within Seton that will connect Green Line to the downtown area. So this Rangeview will be developed at very fairly high urban intensities. So these are some of the images of Seton Urban District. This is the hospital that first phase of the hospital is already constructed. Some of the retail areas in Seton are also have also been constructed and are operational. This is an image of the main street, and down here the regional recreation center, which is also been earmarked for funding and will be under construction next year. As part of our approval process, we did the 360 triple bottom line review, looked at fiscal sustainability of these lands, as well as the environmental sustainability. So the next part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about the process we followed, then followed by how we integrated some of the things that we learned from other areas into our plan. Robert, Brad, myself, and a few of our consultants went on an inspirational trip to the U.S., to some of the southern states. We visited several communities that are looking to integrate or already have integrated some of these ideas, and they've taken design as well as programming strategies to encourage and embrace agricultural urbanism, community gardens, and other ways of bringing the whole food celebration into the community design as well as the operation of it. This is another one of the communities in Southern California, Davis, which is currently underway. The first stages of it have been implemented, and you can see there's a lot of green space here, and they're using all this green space for food production, and with commercial located at the southern end of it, bringing it into marketplace and making it into a community event. So our proposal here, these are the Rangeview lands for Section 23. As you can see, there's 2 quarter sections in here, so it cleanly leads itself to 2 neighborhoods. So there is 2 neighborhoods, 160 acres in size, with a very strong community nodes at the center, located at the center of these neighborhoods. All designed as grid network, encouraging sustainable ways to commute through the development area. But the 2 key areas that I want to emphasize here is the main street that you see in red here, and the open space system, and how this open space system we're going to be using to create the food system and the whole farm to table concept. So this is the open space system through the community that we're creating. There are 3 squares that would be distinctly recognizable in the community. I'm going to start with Square 3. Square 3 is what we're calling the Harvest Square. Will be located at the east end of the neighborhood. So this is where we will do the intensive food production. And the idea here is to take some of these, what is grown here, to what we're calling Square number 1, Market Square, where the main street is and all the commercial. This square will be enclosed by commercial areas, and it will encourage local artisans bringing this food here and celebrating that food with the community. What you see here on number 2 is what we're calling the Innovation Square, and this is where we're developing, our hope is to develop synergies with the school that's located right next to it. The idea being starting to get the students to learn more about agriculture and food production from the very early ages, as well as look at some innovative ways to integrate agricultural urbanism. So we recognize that we are challenged by Calgary's very short growth season. So in addition to that, we are, within our team, we are gathering more intelligence on how we can extend this growing season by use of greenhouses, by use of containers, hydroponics, and some of the other innovative ideas, and bringing all those. And we're very excited about that. We've got a consultant coming in from Victoria helping us with that. So the idea here is, as I said, is to integrate that concept of producing food and taking it to, putting it to the table and involving the community. I want to just quickly talk about the approval framework here. Municipal reserve and how we can integrate, I know the city is working towards enabling food production, and there are some of the challenges that we're going back and forth with the city on, some of the areas here. What municipal reserve does not allow, at least today by the MGA, is to produce food and commercialize it. So anything that we would commercialize would have to be put on private open space. So if there are to be any changes to that, that goes back to the Municipal Government Act and some of the amendments in there. So that's overall our project, and we've got a long ways to go. This is at the inception stages. We're very excited about it. Our team is looking forward to developing strategies with the city, with the Resilient City Group, and taking this forward to its next level.